hate to be one of those women that come on TikTok and cry, and people are like, why is she doing that? I'll tell you that
True.
almost 2 years ago, my ex and I divorced after 23 years of marriage.
It's a
And
long
it's been
time.
almost 2 years. It has been the hardest, most loneliest time of my life. I mean, if somebody would have said that I would feel and walked through what I have walked through, I would have said, no, I won't, because I will not make it. I will not survive very long.
Yeah, and that's exactly why if someone were to have come along and said, "Hey, don't leave the guy," you wouldn't have listened.
I just pulled in my driveway from work, and I don't want to go inside because my kids aren't home this week. I also, when I look to the left, I see our basketball court and two basketballs in the yard. And I'm not going to move those. They're reminders of these precious children that I have and that I can't stop. But man, times like this suck when I don't want to go inside my home because there's no one to go home to. No one is in there waiting for me. I will not be greeted by anybody. And that is a really hard place to be. So, I don't have any like crazy magic words that'll make you feel better if you're experiencing that. Just know that
You fucked up. Just know that you made a mistake. Just know that you ruined something that was great. And just know that for the rest of your life, you will have to live with that. You will have to cope with that decision to split up your family. You can't go back in time, no matter how many TikToks you will come across of women telling you it's okay, you did a good thing, you'll be okay, don't worry about it. It happens. No matter how many of those TikToks you see, you made a mistake, and you're going to have to live with that.
you're not alone. And these feelings, we all know they come and go. Last night I pulled into my driveway just feeling fine. I was actually a little bit excited that I just had the night to myself. But today it just hit me.
So check that out. So she's kind of like a slave to her emotions, if you will. And this is the problem. But she doesn't seem to understand that you don't have to be a slave. You don't have to constantly be going back and forth. You can make a decision to stick to one thing no matter how you feel about it on any given day. So she thinks, and here's the thing, she obviously very much so listened to those feelings, and the problem is the decisions that are made from those feelings are permanent, and they're going to make sure that you live on one side of that, if that makes sense. So she says, there are days where I'm not crying in my car because I'm okay with going inside and being alone. And then there are other days like this where I'm crying in my car, upset that my children are gone. And so what happened is she was feeling those feelings inside of the relationship, but then she made a decision. And that decision led to the outcome of her constantly being alone. Or not constantly, but she has to experience moments like this because of the decision she made. But the thing is, this is the problem. Can't you look at these two things and think, well, I'm in a relationship, I'm in a marriage, I've got a stable family. This is great. I get to come home and there are children and a man to greet me when I come home. This is great. This is great. And then, of course, there were days when she was in that relationship where she was like, I kind of want to be alone. I don't want all this responsibility. And so wouldn't she do some internal thinking like, I'm kind of conflicted. This is how I feel on this day, and this day I have a different feeling. But the question is, which one is more meaningful? That is the question. The one that's more meaningful, of course, would be going home, being greeted by your family. And the other one that's more selfish is, well, I don't want this responsibility. Too many people depend on me. They want this and that. Emotional labor, physical labor, unpaid domestic labor, blah, 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 blah. That is selfish. And what did she do? She chose the selfish one. That's 100% what it is. She prioritized her feelings above the stability and glue of her nuclear family. And so she split it up. And now she has to deal with that. Now she has to deal with that. And she's like, she's coping. She's rationalizing. This isn't that bad because actually there are days when I don't feel this way. Yeah, but which one's more detrimental? Clearly this one. Clearly this one. Which one's less wholesome? Which one's less meaningful? The one that's less meaningful is being happy, going home to an empty house. I'm not really sure. There were many times where she was crying in her car when she was pulling up to go greet her family. Doubt it. But it seems like there's enough to where she has to record it, where she is crying in her car without a family to greet her. So these women are, for lack of better, slaves to their emotions. And for some reason, they can't really choose which emotion, which feeling they should actually grab and try to prevent from evading her. No, cling to that emotion. Cling to the emotion where you have a family that greets you. And maybe there are days where you don't want that. But that day, those feelings are not as important as the other ones. You have to be able to pick which ones are more meaningful. And it just doesn't really seem that a lot of these women can do that because, one day they wake up, I'm not happy, split up the family. Shit, now I'm not happy, and now I have no family. I probably shouldn't have done that. But all the girls on TikTok told me it was going to be okay. That I should prioritize myself. I should choose myself. I should go find myself. There's a journey ahead of me, and it's going to be beautiful. Nope.
You just never plan on things like this happening.
And you can't save them. You can't save them.
And I don't have anything earth-shattering to tell you except that
this sucks.
You are not alone in those feelings, and probably an important thing to do is to reach out to somebody that's healthy, not just anybody. While I think it's important to sit in those feelings and that grief, because there's so much growth happening. Like, I know there is.
Articulate it.
There is so much growth happening.
What's it look like?
In my heart. And I want that growth because
what's the growth?
I don't want any of that pain to be in vain.
Do you have a tumor?
I want to come out of this a better woman, a better mom.
How?
A better partner.
Blah.
For that person. So I'm going to wrap this up because I'm rambling and I kind of want to delete it. Maybe I should.
Well,
but
probably.
Just know you're not alone.
Oh, they know. They know they're not alone. There's enough of you on TikTok to where they know that that they're not alone here. Let me adjust this. So this is one of her TikToks here. Move this down a bit. This is one of her TikToks here. And I can't actually play the audio. Well, I guess a little bit. Done with you. So yeah, and this is just her complaining. I'm so tired of these 2 to 3 week long situationships. Lord, if I'm an oil change, just tell me now. So, she's not having any luck out there. Situationships. I mean, what does that mean? It just means you meet a guy, talk for a little bit, hook up, things are exciting, fails. On to the next. again, rinse, cycle, rinse, repeat, whatever. So, I mean, it's brutal out there for these chicks. They think it's going to be better. It's worse. And not only is it worse, you know, it's just they're not what they used to be. They're not what they used to be. Now they have a lot of baggage, and there's more stress too, because now you have to be a mom as well. Now you also have to care for children, and then you're also trying to find a man. It's hard. It's very difficult, and you know, it's their choice, of course. These women on TikTok are rampant. There's so many of them like her. They're everywhere. Hard to avoid them. Just go to #divorce talk. I mean, it's just an abundance of these chicks. And I mean, it's like a snowball effect. They're all gaslighting each other to end their families, split up their marriages, split up their families and their marriages. And you don't need to feel bad for them, because hey, they have all the rights that men do. They are autonomous. They are adults. And yet they can't really seem to get out of their own way a lot of times when it comes to this stuff. And like I said, you got to be able to figure out which feelings are more important. Because if you're constantly, oh, this is the way I feel, let me lean into that. Oh, this is the way I feel, let me lean into that. This way, let me lean this way. And this seems like what a lot of them do. Quite literally slave to their emotions, back and forth. And so it's just like, inevitably, they're going to start feeling things like, oh, I kind of want to be alone. Oh, I'm kind of tired of cooking. I'm kind of tired of this guy. I'm kind of tired of trying to make this marriage work. Blah, blah, blah. I'm tired of my partner. My partner isn't pulling his weight in this equal marriage. Anyways, kind of rambling at this point. I'm going to leave that there. If you enjoyed that, leave a like, subscription. Check out some of the other videos. I'll see you later.